she's just staring at Officer A. And he said it was the most surreal experience of my life. He describes it as he felt like there was something inside her, something behind her eyes, looking back at him.
They always made excuses. It was always the wind, or I moved it, or they're my footprints. They even went as far as to threaten us with defamation lawsuits if we talked about it on social media.
I'll chew the skin from your bones.
Tell you what, click, clack. She's going down.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the D.R.I.P podcast Halloween special. Now, what makes it so special is that we have all 5 of us here today. I know we said we wouldn't do this, but I just feel like for something like a Halloween special, maybe the Christmas special as well, we should have everyone here. So, the plan for today is we have all brought a scary story, a ghost story, whether they be true, whether they be folklore, and we're all going to tell a story for you guys and for each other today. And obviously we're going to discuss them, maybe interject if there's an opening to question things, etc., etc. Firstly, though, I do just want to say this podcast is proudly brought to you by Wraith. Okay, head over to drinkwraith.com. Use code DUTY for 20% off. Get all of your energy drink needs. You can even get cool beanies and stuff. You can see me repping if you're watching the video podcast. But yeah, thank you so much to Wraith. You guys are awesome, and they're allowing big things to happen here at D.R.I.P. They're helping us get to bigger and better locations for investigations, and it's all because you guys are supporting this collaboration. So please head over to drinkwraith.com. Use code DUTY for 20% off. Thank you. Okay. Who would like to go first?
I can go first if you wish. I don't really know how long mine is, but it's a story written from the perspective of my partner. She's had a couple of experiences with ghosts. I've read one out on the Atma podcast before. This is a different one.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Fresh.
Let's go. I'll say fresh. It's probably older than the one I told before. But anyway.
Oh.
Here we go. I was around 11 and my nan had just died. We were at her ground floor flat, clearing out her stuff. There was me, my mum, and her partner. We were in and out of the flat, taking boxes of her possessions out to the car. You could see the car park from the kitchen room window where I stood, sorting through the piles of crockery and cleaning the countertop. I could hear heavy footsteps behind me, presumably from where either my mum or her partner were carrying some weighty boxes through the kitchen. Except when I looked out of the kitchen window, I could see them both standing ahead, loading things into the car.
Ooh.
I whirled around and found no one within the flat. I was so frightened, I said nothing to my mum, so I just pretended everything was okay, but insisted I carry boxes to the car so that I didn't have to stay in the flat, even though realistically I was too young and weak and couldn't carry much. My mum openly accepted my offer. When I got home, I told my mum about the heavy footsteps behind me. My mum told me that she had also heard the same footsteps behind her in the kitchen, but didn't say anything at the time for fear of scaring me. So that is basically the story. She swears blind that she heard the footsteps and they're like noticeable footsteps, and she doesn't think that she could have mistook them for anything else.
Yeah.
And it does seem like, I don't know, when someone passes, this sort of thing happens a lot.
Yeah.
You are in the house or you're around someone who's connected to them where they've been before, wherever a family member. And you do hear this a lot where people just hear things happening that they'd never noticed before and can't explain. But she does swear blind that this footsteps she can't explain.
And it scared her so much that she didn't even want to be in the flat by herself.
Yeah. She was 11, so that would have been, you know, I don't know how unsettling that would be for 11-year-old, because I've never been in a situation myself, so I can't say how I'd feel. I'd definitely feel unsettled now if it happened, let alone if I was 11. So yeah, it's not nice to think about. Just 11-year-old being fucking scared shitless.
Yeah.
And trying to comically carry out these boxes that are way too heavy for her. But
Yeah,
Anything to get away from the noise, I guess.
that's it. So, because I think we discussed this when you told the other story on the Atma podcast, because obviously you don't believe in any of this stuff.
No.
So, what are your thoughts with this story?
The only thing I have said to her is that could it have been footsteps? You said it was a flat. Could it have been footsteps above, perhaps? Or maybe footsteps outside that you couldn't see. Maybe there's someone round the corner, not your mum or her partner. Maybe there's someone else making noise, but she has said that she doesn't think it was that.
It was coming from inside.
Yeah, we must just say she was 11. So
Yeah.
don't know how much, awareness you have at 11 of what's going on around you. But yeah, that's as much as I can really explain.
Like, for her to voluntarily take up doing work at 11 years old to get away from it, that lends so much credibility to the noise that she heard.
True.
Yeah,
it's a bit nutty.
Mm-hmm.
And her mum as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The footsteps.
Because, as a mum talking to a child, you wouldn't want to affirm that or, agree to it for no reason other than like, oh my God, we actually just experienced the same thing. That's insane.
Yeah.
Because my thought process behind it would have been if it was just her that heard it, then potentially like she heard the footsteps, thought that they were behind her, and then like convinced herself that they were behind her when they could have been from the flat above potentially. But if her mum heard them as well, it definitely kind of it kind of puts like a strange spin on it. So because obviously you'd like to think that a fully grown woman would be able to identify footsteps from behind her or from upstairs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there wouldn't be really that fear of like, oh my God, there's someone behind me, and then convincing yourself that there was footsteps behind you when they would come from somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite a strange one.
Point out as well. I don't know if I'm pretty sure this is the way it's happened, but I don't think her mum told her or agreed with her about the footsteps until much, much later after they talked about it, like just randomly one day. She hasn't put it in the story. She hasn't written it in the story, but I'm sure that it was years and years later that they started talking about, oh, do you remember when we were clearing Nan's flat? And I heard those footsteps. And I think that's how it come around, where her mum said, yeah, I heard them too. So it wasn't like a couple of months after, it wasn't a week after. It was like years and years.
When maybe she's more mature to handle the truth.
I feel like also her mum remembering that she heard footsteps years and years ago may add a bit more credence to it. Than just being told, oh, I heard footsteps. Oh, I did too. Like within minutes of each other.
It's obviously stuck with both of them for like a long time.
Yeah.
So with I don't know if you'll remember this or know this off the top of your head, Lozzie, but obviously with the Atma podcast, when you told us the story about Amber, it was about a haunted house that she grew up in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Time-wise, is this before, or would the Nan's house been before or after that? Like, would this have been like her first paranormal experience, or was she currently growing up in a haunted house at that time?
I think this would have been before.
That's another thing. First time, very, very. As we expect, whether what we experience is paranormal or not, what we as paranormal investigators have identified is the more of these scary places we do, the less scary they become. So obviously, if she's growing up in a haunted house, if that's her first experience,
I've literally just, because I had this saved on my notes from ages ago, I've literally just looked at the other ghost story that I did for Atma, and it does say she was around 11, so it was at the same time.
Okay. Do you want to? How long is that one? Do you want to just quickly fire that one out? Because I think the people would like to hear it.
Yeah.
I'd certainly love to hear it again.
Let me put myself on main stage again. Look.
That's it. Look at that. We're getting two stories from Loz. There we go.
2 and 1. That's what you get. Yeah, she's around the same age, obviously, in this story. I was around 11 years old when my mum and I moved into a small rural house. We needed somewhere to stay quickly and cheaply, when this place appeared on the market, available immediately and for a very low price. After moving in, I felt like there was something strange. Odd happenings would go on with the house, and as a young child, I had convinced myself that the house was trying to get us out. In the year we were there, we had experienced very bad weather. Water damage affected my bedroom in particular. An outline of a large door appeared next to my bed in a yellow/orange tinge that stained the wallpaper. We had been infested with mice. Our kitchen appliances all failed and broke. Our utility room collapsed in on itself. My mum's room developed an awful musty smell, which after a few months of not understanding what it was, we discovered that her mattress had grown thick with mold from the bottom side
Oh,
up.
Jeez.
And most worryingly, our dog would always stare, bark, and growl into the same corner of the living room wall. There was no way to snap him out of it. It was like he's in a trance. The house also experienced lots of power cuts in the evenings. Being in such a rural area, there were no street lamps or nearby houses to illuminate anything, so it would just be pitch black. One blackout left me paralyzed in fear. I was lying on the sofa in the living room, my head in the corner that the dog was never fond of. All the electrics cut off, and my mum was asking me to flip the switches on the fuse box to bring the power back on. I couldn't. I was so scared. I could have sworn there was an old and angry looking man towering over me. He seemed very unsettled and was an intimidating presence. I couldn't make out any distinguishing features, but there was an undeniable aggressive energy that unsettled me, but was somehow stopping me from escaping its grip or hold on me. It's almost as if our presence in the property was something that it would feed off, but only to fuel its anger further. We were not welcome there. Minutes that felt like a lifetime went by, and eventually my mum stormed in with a candle and sorted the fuse box out. I was convinced something or someone was in that place, harboring the sole intention to drive us out. My mum would dismiss my suspicions as being silly. She must not have felt the same things I did. Jump ahead several years. We're no longer residing in the house, and it has since been demolished. Myself, my mum, and my aunt are on the train to London when I bring up the time that I thought our house was haunted because of the old creepy man that the dog hated. My aunt laughed and said, "Oh, the one where the old man died in the bathroom." The bathroom in question was right behind the wall where the dog always barked, stared, and growled, the same place where I was frozen in terror and felt the ever-growing dark presence emanating from. Turns out my mum felt every inch of my fear and apprehension about that place because she too could sense the very same thing me and the dog did. She tried to protect me from my own spiraling fear by lying about how she felt despite feeling the same terror I did. That's that.
Oh my god.
That sounds
Yeah.
like a movie plot, mate. That doesn't sound like a
Yeah.
ghost story from someone
I'll
like...
tell you what, you insert Ed and Lorraine Warren in that, you got Conjuring 6.
That's it. And we
Does he
brought
live
the
at 30
Conjuring
East Drive?
back.
We're on a cash
There we
cow.
go.
Oh, Conjuring's back. There you go.
That's it, yeah.
That's my one per episode. Yeah, that's crazy. Fair play to the mum though for putting her fears aside, you know, and for the sake of your partner. I'm just saying your partner because I don't know if you want the name. I know it's not silly. It's silly to say.
I think I've said a name before, so it doesn't really matter, to be honest.
Yeah, to put Amber's feelings first is brilliant because
Ghost.
you know because you do you know you get some people that would that wouldn't do that for the sake of their child. So
Yeah.
fair play to Amber's mum. Shout out to Amber's mum.
Sure.
In the nicest way possible. Amazing story. Do you know what I mean? Like it's got, I don't want to say it's got everything, but it has. Do you know what I mean? It's got like, you know, the decay and the mold and all the things that like they say with like possessions and hauntings and stuff. They start to degrade things. They start to try and break you down to either get you or get you out. And obviously her in the blackout, seeing obviously her vision would have been diminished because of the blackout.
Yeah.
But kind of seeing something there, being frozen in fear, etc., etc. Absolutely horrid.
That then gets proven by history as well.
Yeah. Oh, the man that died in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, that's grim.
So what's your thoughts on that one then, Lozzie? What are your?
I don't really know where to start on that one. I've said to her before, like, I've never seen the place that
Right.
she's talking about, and obviously it's been demolished now, but it sounds awful. It sounds like not a great place to live, even if we remove the fact that there might have been a really bad presence or
Yeah.
thing there.
Yeah.
But when she was talking about, I kind of focused on the distinguishing features that she couldn't make out. And I was like,
Yeah.
wait, did you just feel like you were being watched, or did you actually picture something in front of you? Like,
Yeah.
because if something's that close, all right, it's dark, but either you see it or you don't see it. That was my argument about it. But obviously, it's not something I'm going to sit there and go, you know, try and like, you know, cross-examine her.
Yeah.
Or
You're a fucking liar.
me. These red flags are coming out, tell you. But yeah, that's the strange thing, that she couldn't make out any distinguishing features
Yeah.
on the front. And if it was like standing over her, I feel like you would be able to make out something. But 11 years old again, I don't know at what point in time you kind of switch on and you like perceive everything as it is.
But then her mum was perceiving the same stuff.
And could potentially be that he had no features and he was just a like blank face, like Slender Man or something.
Yeah.
Melted off in the bath.
Yeah.
That's it.
See, that's just Adam.
Don't do that noise. What was that noise that you just did?
It's his face falling off.
Oh, no.
In the bath.
Enjoy to the audio listeners.
That's it. We're here for the audio
ASMR.
listeners. Yep.
Yeah, ASMR face is falling off.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Halloween special, guys.
That's it. 100%. I'm just gonna shoehorn this in here for a reason. If this is technically advertising the Patreon, so I basically support the pod, join the Patreon, right? But I want to talk about Halloween for a second because basically we did something on the first 5 investigations this year, and we filmed a little pod at the end of each investigation. We were very tired, but it was kind of like not a prototype. What would you call it? Like a prototype, but you know, like a pilot scheme. I don't know, like a practice run. And that is available right now over on Patreon, which you can access for £1 or $1 a month. 5 episodes, podcast from the investigations. Going forward, though, I like the concept that we had there. I do like the concept that we had. It just needs a little bit of refinement. I'm wondering how we do it, because I would like to have it so that we do a podcast after, or maybe even, I think we discussed, maybe like, you know, that TikTok trend where it's like, my name's Graham and this is my first drink. And then it's like, fast forwards, my name's Graham and I've been on ketamine all night. Right? Like doing that, where it's like the first half of the podcast is either before or maybe midway through, where it's like, you know, I think before would be quite cool. So it's like, oh, you know, we're here, but we don't know what we're going to expect, blah, blah, blah. And then we do the other half afterwards.
Yeah.
But, and this is the big but, and this is the thing that I need to find a way around, would be audio quality, because audio quality for podcasts is very important. And obviously on some of those Halloweeks, because it was just the prototype, the test run that is on Patreon right now, you know, we're just using camera microphone.
Yeah. We're just going to have to invest in something that can hold 5 microphones.
Bailey's face. Like a Zoom.
Yeah, sort of like a Zoom H6 handy recorder. Like
That
one
doesn't have 5 slots though, does it?
No, it's got four. It's got 4.
Yeah,
got 4 XLR mics, and you know, Jordan maybe could have his little clip on. That sounds decent.
Wait, no, wait. Scott.
Scott's got one.
You have one, don't you?
Yeah, but it's only got 4 slots. That's the point.
He's
So
just
if 5 of
He's
us
only
went,
got 2.
I think mine's only got 2
yeah.
because it's older.
So if we had mine and Scott.
I mean, I tell you what we could do though. To be fair, is we could, for the sake of audio quality, have a couple of mics, and fuck me, if people want to talk, we just pass the mic round.
Or just
Oh,
buy one.
What What, with 5? We'll have to find one with 5. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. I didn't want to take up too much of the pod, but you're absolutely right, mate. It's like buy one with 5 ports. But that's an idea.
We can't be passing around mics. That'll be messy.
Fucking Christ.
And it'll put people off contributing because it'll be like, oh, I can't be bothered to ask for the mic.
Oh, fuck.
All right, Maya, listen, just take a dump on all the good ideas, yeah?
That's it.
Look,
You can have
I'm
a
a
mic
big believer.
permanently. We'll pass it round.
All right, go on then. That sounds good.
Jesus.
No, we'll just buy the thing. We'll just buy one on
Fucking hell.
Facebook Marketplace or something.
Oh, we'll get a Kickstarter going. Fuck me.
How much are they?
It's not like you had one sitting on the side for like fucking 2 years, is it, John?
It makes me sick.
As soon as we fucking get rid of it.
Literally.
Yeah, we should do pods on the road. If only we had a device to let us do that.
Yeah.
Yes, it's now in Wales.
Oh dear. Never mind, but we'll sort it out. We'll find one. That'll be fine. But yes, that's just an idea. Just wanted to let you guys know if you want to comment your thoughts down below on that. Because then if you think about the content, you'll have a podcast from the investigation. You'll then have the investigation. You'll then have a live stream a week or two after the investigation of our thoughts once we processed it. So there's lots of, content coming out of an investigation, which I think is really cool because they do take a lot of time and effort. And so to get as much out of it as we possibly can would be absolutely awesome. But anyway, Lozzie, thank you for those 2 stories. Who wants to go next?
Can I go next?
Yeah, you can go next. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll finish. So I'll bring us home. So between now and then, Maya, Bailey, and Scott.
Okay. So...
Oh, Lozzie's in the seat again. There you go.
Thanks. I may have done something slightly different to everyone else. I'm not sure, but I think mine might be a little bit longer than everyone else's. So buckle in.
Okay.
The story is disgusting, but it's really, really
You're
good.
going to just read a whole movie transcript now to us, isn't you?
Pretty much.
She just reads the B movie.
The Conjuring series.
Ed walked into the room. Sorry, carry on.
I first saw this on TikTok, and the TikTok reading of this was 7 minutes long. So I've cut some bits out to hopefully shorten it down, but without taking away any of the suspense. But enjoy. Okay, so it's called My Girlfriend Talks in Her Sleep. She's been saying the most horrible things recently. It all started with the first real thing that troubled me about her. We'd never actually spent a night together. No matter how late she was over, once either of us showed signs of being tired, she'd up and leave. She wouldn't leave awkwardly or in anger, just a casual kiss goodnight and a smile and a call me soon. It was something I didn't even notice the first few times she did it, but after almost 8 weeks of dating, it was becoming strange. I'd have to ask her about it. It took drinking almost an entire bottle of wine before I had the courage to do it. She looked almost defeated when I asked and lowered her eyes in embarrassment. I knew this talk would come eventually, she started. She took a deep breath with a long drawn-out exhale. Recently, she paused again, I've started talking in my sleep. She shook her head in embarrassment. It's called somniloquy. I looked it up. I shrugged and laughed out loud. My demeanour seemed to say, is that it? No, Stephen, listen, she said. She wasn't laughing. It's bad. It's completely out of control. It's not just random words or gibberish. No, it's horrible. I say horrible, disgusting things. She was starting to raise her voice, breathing heavier, and started tearing up. I approached her and held her. I told her it couldn't be that bad. I told her to spend the night, and I told her she was probably exaggerating. I was wrong. That night, she stayed at my house, but she warned me of something before falling asleep. Whatever you do, don't wake me up. It makes me really scared and disoriented if that happens. And don't respond to me. Just ignore it. I nodded and agreed. If it becomes too much, she continued, just leave the room and sleep on the couch. I won't mind. I told her not to worry about it. I told her that it won't be a big deal. I told her I wouldn't leave to the couch. I'd stay beside her in bed. But I was wrong. I couldn't even last one night.
Pussy.
We both fell asleep without incident. I don't know how many hours passed, but I woke up in the dark with a sensation that someone was watching me. And then I remembered. She was with me. She was actually spending the night. I smiled. But then I noticed the shadowy outline of her sitting up in bed. She was looking down at me, staring.
Fuck
It
that.
creeped me out. It creeped me out, I'll admit it. Her posture was entirely different. It was as though it wasn't even her at all.
Oh.
And then she spoke. It wasn't her voice that I heard. It was much lower and more gravelly, like something out of a horror movie. I'll chew the skin from your bones, she said.
Okay, I'm out.
But I tell you what, mate. Like, unless he is unbelievably, unfathomably punching, there's no way you're fucking staying in this shit, man.
Also, I liked the fact that she's like, yeah, you can go sleep on the couch. It's
Yeah.
your bed, but no,
Yeah,
you can sleep on the couch.
Yeah, innit?
Shit.
I'll chew the bones from your flesh from your bones.
I'll chew the skin from your bones.
I'll be like, really? I'll fucking drop you. Know? So fucking... There'll be fucking no cannibalism in here tonight.
I froze. At first, I just kept looking at her. This was not at all what I expected. I thought it would be more like the way Tourette's is often portrayed, just random swearing and shouting. I honestly thought to myself, what will I do if she attacks me right now? What if she really does try to chew the skin off my bones? But then she just lied down and went back to sleep. I was creeped out. I tried to lie down and ignore her, but I struggled. I couldn't even close my eyes without thinking, maybe she's sitting up again and staring at me.
Ugh.
And then the one time I turned over to look at her, she was. This story gets horrible. Her face was pressed right towards mine. Her breath was foul and rotted, something that was most certainly not normal for her. Good.
Brush your
She spoke
teeth.
again, in the same voice as before. If you don't move to the couch, you'll be dead by morning. That did it for me. I sat up in a moment and headed for the living room. She made some sort of wheezing sound as I left. I think it was supposed to be laughter. I was lying on the couch, but I wasn't going to be able to fall back to sleep. I was far too shaken. I was staring out towards the window, hoping to see the first few hints of the sun rising, and then I thought I heard something from the bedroom. I listened, and then I heard it again. Stephen. It was the same low and gravelly voice. It sounded somewhat like a witch. I tried to just ignore it at first, but then it continued. Stephen. Still, I said nothing. I know you can hear me, Stephen. You're awake now. Why don't you come back into the bedroom? The voice barely sounded human. Or maybe you'd prefer it if I came to you. I still didn't say anything. I was told not to, but I listened. If I heard her start walking towards the bedroom door, I'm not even joking, I would run right out of the apartment. But she had asked me not to respond to her sleep talking, so I didn't. And then I heard it once more.
It's impressive that he's got to this point and he's still simping. It's still like, she did tell me not to say anything, though.
He's got more commitment than
Like,
me.
what the fuck, dude?
Should have a
She'd be awake. I don't care how
scared.
Also, I'd be pissed off. I'd be like, hang on a minute, you just told me to come down here. Don't tell me to fucking come back. Like, geez, I thought you were indecisive when you were fucking awake.
Is it? Do you know if this story's in America? If it is, tell you what, click clack, she's going down.
AR-15.
If I hear footsteps towards that door,
I got my trusty Desert Eagle on my hip.
I'm emptying 2 mags.
I never stay around without my big iron on my hip. She going down.
Oh, dear.
Sorry to break the tension, Maya. Please continue.
I got a feeling she'd be like one of them bath salts motherfuckers, though. Do you know what I mean? You're not keeping her down. You have to go for the kneecaps because the head isn't gonna work.
That's it.
The clicker out of fucking Last of Us.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. Right. Sorry if this spoils your plans, she began laughing. The two of you were supposed to walk the trail again, she started. I wasn't even remotely prepared for what she'd say next. You'd both be so tired when you'd reach the top. You'd look over the city, then you'll get on one knee and bring out the ring, she began laughing. And that's when I realised this wasn't a problem with sleep talking. It was something much more, something supernatural. I'd never told anybody about my proposal fantasy. There was simply no way she could have known about any of it. This was no longer about merely talking in one sleep. This was about possession. I can't go back into the bedroom. I have no idea what would happen if I did. Instead, I'm going to wait it out, holding up in my living room until the sun rises. I have a couple more hours yet.
Legend.
I have
I'll
a
sleep
couple
in a
more hours
car.
yet. I can hear her occasionally laughing in the in the bedroom. It's still not her voice, still that same low-pitched cackle. But as I sit on my couch writing this out, here's what scares me the most. Maybe the infatuation and utter obsession with her wasn't normal. I said before that I felt like I was losing my control of myself. More so, I believe, than the typical falling in love story. No, I fear the infatuation I felt was the entity slowly taking control of me, of it controlling my thoughts, fears, ambitions, and anxieties. Maybe once I become completely absorbed, a transfer would occur and she would be free of it. I know I should leave, that I should open the front door, get in my car, and drive away from here, but I can't. I can't leave her. I've already lost control. I'm infatuated with her, utterly infatuated. As the sun finally started to rise, I found the strength to push myself off the couch. My mind raced with fear, worry. I'd been up all night listening to her deranged laughter from the bedroom. There was no denying it now. This was something more than simple sleep talking. As the morning light filtered in, it illuminated her silhouette in the bedroom doorway. Her posture was the same as it had been in the middle of the night, eerily out of place, like she was someone or something else. My heart pounded in my chest as she approached me slowly, the gravelly voice that kept me awake all night, now eerily silent. "Stephen," she finally said, her voice back to normal. One sec. She looked at me with confusion, concern. "You look like you've seen a ghost." I stammered, tried to explain what had happened, but the words stuck in my throat. Her confusion turned into a look of fear. But it wasn't just fear, it was recognition. "Stephen?" she whispered, taking a step back. Her eyes were filled with terror, but not at me. She was staring at something behind me. I felt a cold shiver run down my spine. Slowly, I turned around. The sight that met my eyes was even more horrifying than anything I had ever imagined. It was my reflection in the window, but it wasn't just me I was seeing. Behind my reflection, another figure overlapped, shadowy. Her eyes glowed menacing red, full of malice. Its hand reached out from the reflection, resting on my shoulder in the real world. I spun around, but there was nothing there. The room was empty except for the two of us, but when I looked back, my girlfriend, I saw in her eyes. She spoke in that gravelly, horrifying voice. "So, you finally seen it, Stephen? That thing that's been pulling all of your strings?" And within that, the entity in my reflection started to laugh, its bone-chilling cackle echoing through the room. It was the last sound I heard before everything went black. As my consciousness slipped away, I realized that terrifying truth. I was not the observer, but the host. The entity had been possessing my girlfriend. It had been possessing me all along. And my obsessive love for her was not mine, the entity's trap. I was infatuated with myself. Utterly infatuated. And that's the end of the story. So he was possessed the whole time.
He was possessed the whole time.
Yeah, it's
Was
a
the
bit
girlfriend real?
Yeah, was she real?
Hang on.
No.
At the end, he turned back around and there was no one there.
Yeah, because he said that there was only the two of them in the room. Did he mean him and her?
The demon.
Or him and the demon?
entity.
But who?
Could have been.
I'm confused. That ending, that was amazing until the ending's thrown me completely. So, how was he possessed? I understand if he became possessed eventually, but how was he possessed the whole time if she was the one that was doing all the freaky shit?
I don't think she was real.
Yeah, I think that she was the actual demon.
Yeah, the whole time.
And
Yeah.
it wasn't her being possessed. It was just him hearing his possession.
Yeah.
Oh.
The demon. And that's what he saw in the mirror, and that's the postured thing that he saw.
Oh, shit. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's rank, innit?
Yeah, that was really good. I like that a lot. Is it real?
Yeah.
Fair play. That's all I needed.
I don't know. It's a Reddit story.
It's
so
a great
probably not.
story though. It's a great scary story.
Yeah.
Unless the demon's posting on Reddit, I'm going to lean towards no.
Mm.
I've got a possession story. My story's a possession story. But before we get to that, your story, funnily enough, reminds me of myself, Maya.
Oh yeah. That's actually why I chose it, because of your awful, awful sleep talking.
Yeah, I do it a lot.
roles reversed.
I remember I stayed over my cousin Tom's once my cousin Tom, love him. He can look after himself. Do you know what I mean? I would say he's hard, right? And he woke me up, and I've never seen him so scared in my life. And he was like, "Mate, what the fuck were you?" He was like, "You were speaking like a language I've never heard before in like a deep voice. It sounded demonic. It was horrendous. Never seen him so fucking scared." Also, my mum, when she was younger, my mum's an identical twin. My mum apparently one night sat up, stared at her twin sister, and just said, "I'm going to fucking kill you," and then just went back to put her head back down. That was just in the middle of the night. Yeah,
the worst one that you've ever done is when we were in the apartment. Because I used to sleep next to the door. You were facing me, and I was facing you, and then obviously I had the door to my back.
Yeah,
and
boy.
we were both asleep, but obviously you woke me up or something, and you just went, Maya, don't turn around. There's someone behind you, and then just went back to sleep. And I was like,
"You absolute prick!"
No, I woke up. I woke up. There was someone behind you.
Around. Yeah, I wasn't even sleep talking.
Maya, there's someone behind you. Deal with that. I need to get some sleep.
You did one the other day as well. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Someone in the wardrobe.
You always do. Yeah, that's the one. You always do this like thing, and then you
I'm
just
absorbing
go,
oxygen, ready to fight.
But you just say the scariest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life, and then just go back to sleep like nothing happened. I just have to sit there and be like, sick. The one that you did the other day was you did the waking up thing, and then you just went, "Oh, I thought someone was staring at me in the wardrobe," and then just went back to sleep. And I was like,
Mel.
"Oh, cheers, Jordan."
Yeah, so, well, yeah. But what if there was? Then I'm warning
but
you.
that's the thing.
Ungrateful.
What am I supposed to do? You warn me and then just
And
go,
then
"I'm not
just
going to deal
go
with
back
it."
to sleep.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
to sleep.
That's so great.
Her issue now.
That's it.
I've done my bit.
I warned her.
That's it.
Maybe it's the man from your wardrobe when you was younger, Maya.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
When was that? Was that shortly after that investigation?
That's a couple of weeks
Wasn't
ago.
that
It wasn't that
long
long.
ago.
It was literally like a week ago.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I do
But
it
yeah, that's what
anyway.
inspired the story.
But turns out, apparently, I don't exist, and it's actually you that's possessed the whole time, or some shit. I don't know how that works.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, we're all in a simulation anyway, so it don't matter. Right, but
Yeah.
great story though. I really enjoyed that. That got me on
Yeah, it
many
was good.
levels. Going through that.
Do we want to rate? Do we want to go and rate them?
Oh,
I mean, I don't know.
we're
'cause
halfway through now.
I feel like with Lozzie's, I mean, that's a bit personal. Do you know what I mean? If Scott, if you
Yeah.
now drop a 3
1
out of 10, if you drop a
Yes.
if you drop a 3 out of 10 on
Hell yeah,
Lozzie's girlfriend's
shit.
trauma, that might be a bit bad.
Yeah, fair point.
You
Yeah.
could save it by saying
Wait.
no. I'd give it a 9 out of 10, but it's fine, Scott. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Scott, you
Yeah,
just,
fair point.
you just gave
Took
it a
the words
3
out
out
of
of
my
10
mouth.
without saying it.
Wow. Scott's in the map.
It's getting
Scott's in the map.
personal.
That's it. Right, who's next? Scott or
Scott, do you
Bailey?
want to go?
I'll go. Yeah.
Yeah, you go, Scott.
So
Oh,
mine.
Maya's in the hot seat again.
Sorry,
Oh,
Maya.
Maya, you're
Maya's
behind-
covered by Jordan.
Maya, you're
now.
behind the thumbnail now.
So this is called. It's got a title. It's called Haunted Water Park.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm loving the setting.
So I literally downloaded Reddit. So I can vent about this because I could get fired if I talk about this. I'm a lifeguard at a water park in Las Vegas. We always brag about how, unlike our competition, we've had 0 casualties at the current location. Stuff always happens, like tubes will appear in the pool after we took them out and stacked them. Chairs will move around after we just sorted them. There are wet footsteps on the concrete when no one was wet, etc. We joke that we don't get paid enough to fight demons. It was just a joke to us, but not to our supervisors or managers. They always made excuses. It was always the wind, or I moved it, or they're my footprints. They always got angry at us and said that someone could overhear us and complain. They even went as far as to threaten us with defamation lawsuits if we talked about it on social media.
Jesus.
Weird, right?
Just a little bit.
If the park wasn't haunted, why would they care so much about us talking about it? I never cared because I believed my supervisors and managers. Maybe they did move the chairs. Maybe they dipped their feet in the pool and walked away. That was until last month. It was 10 p.m. and we just finished cleaning the park. I had to stay later because I was getting a ride from my supervisor, Ryan. We were the few people left in the park, so we were doing a final walkthrough just to make sure that everything was clean. We only had a flashlight and a few light posts illuminating our path around the park. We were walking by some slides when I heard someone say, a woman, say, hello? I looked at Ryan, who didn't seem to hear it. Then we heard it again. Hello? I freaked, and Ryan again didn't seem to hear it. Did you not hear that? I said to Ryan. He shrugged and continued walking. I stopped and said I didn't want to do the walkthrough with him. He rolled his eyes and said that if I didn't, I'm refusing to work, which isn't a good thing to say to your supervisor. He told me that I was probably just hearing things. I got a hold of myself and continued walking. We started getting to the back of the park where the light posts were dimmer, and it was much quieter since we were further from the running water and the slides. Ryan and I started talking about school and college, and what we were going to do when the season ends, and then I heard it again, but this time it sounded closer. Hello? Anyone there? She sounded very confused and tired. I jumped, and again, Ryan didn't care at all. I was freaked out. I started feeling nauseous. I wanted to go home, but Ryan was my ride, so I had to wait for him. What happened next haunts me. After we heard the voice, we heard what sounded like someone climbing out of the lazy river, soaking wet. No one else is here. If they were, they would be in the office. No one should be swimming at this time of night. Ryan was angry. He thought a lifeguard had snuck into the river. He turned around and started yelling, "What the fuck? Go home. This isn't fun." He froze. I said a quick prayer and turned around. There was a lady, soaking wet, wearing a park shirt with our logo on it, but the logo looked very 2000s. I know what our shirts look like. I stand in the shop all day to get some aircon. I've never seen that shirt. She was hunched over and her hair covered her face. She spoke. "Hello? Can you help me?" Ryan grabbed my arm and we bolted to the office. Lifeguards weren't allowed inside the office ever. It's a whole thing. But he let me come inside. He pulled one of the managers into the supply room and shut the door. Another supervisor started asking me if I was okay. I was breathing heavily and I couldn't speak, but I nodded yes. Ryan and the manager came out of the room and Ryan grabbed his stuff and said, "Let's go." We got into his car and he said we needed to stop at the gas station first. When we pulled in, he told me to type my address into his sat-nav while he pumped gas. When he got back in the car, I broke the silence. What the fuck was that? What happened? He turned the car on and started driving. I can't tell anyone. It's a park secret, but I'll tell you if you swear that you won't tell anyone. I agreed. Back in 2002, before this location of the park, there was another park on the Strip. It was the only water park in Vegas. We only ever had one casualty, and it was a lady who came in with her family. She got drunk and went swimming in the lazy river, where she sank to the bottom of the river, and because there were so many tubes in it, the lifeguards didn't see her and she drowned. That's why we have so many lifeguards for the river and why the tubes are now see-through. So that was her? Yeah. Why was she here? I don't know. She's probably confused. She's always asking for help.
Oh.
So you did hear her? Yeah, but everyone does when you're in the park late at night. It's a whole different story if you see her. What happens if you see her? Nothing, but it's scary. The car ride was silent for the rest of the way. I still work at the park, but Ryan talked to the managers and convinced them to let me work the morning shifts. Ryan quit recently due to college. I only told 2 co-workers, but only because they've had similar experiences with her. So thanks for letting me vent. Also appreciate lifeguards and all the shit we go through.
Big up lifeguards, definitely.
Big up the lifeguards.
Fucking hell, man. That was terrifying. That's weird because the first thing I was thinking was, it's a water park, man. They're so fun. Like, I would never even contemplate like a haunted water park. And yet, literally, I mean, I've been a lifeguard myself. Like, I know the dangers of water. Like, people do die at swimming pools. They do die at these places, you know. And obviously, that's where the paranormal can manifest, I guess. That was fucking horrendous. That was creepy as shit.
I thought that one might resonate with you a bit as well, because obviously you are a lifeguard.
Yeah, definitely.
So there is a very small update in the comments.
Oh, wow.
It literally just says that since she's moved to mornings, colleagues say similar things. but she's not witnessed anything herself.
Right.
But colleagues are still reporting that they hear someone getting out of the water at night and then essentially run. But
Man,
then,
that's horrendous.
from what I can see, the account that posted this has now actually been taken down. So I don't know if the water park found out that they
Maybe.
posted it online.
Maybe.
But yeah, that account has since been deleted or removed.
Tell you what else is super interesting about that story. We get comments all the time, skeptical people that go, "Isn't it convenient that ghosts only ever have Victorian clothing? You never see a ghost in a shell suit." The biggest thing I took away from that, fucking modern day ghost. Said she was dressed in early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, there you go. That's a modern ghost sighting.
That's it.
So they're out there.
You just got to know where to look.
Fucking out
Yeah,
there.
it's because we're looking in all the old buildings, so we're going to see all the old ghosts.
So
That's the
solid
thing
point.
is.
Yeah.
No, you look at a fucking standard like fucking housing estate or something, you might just get some regular closed Joe.
Yeah. But man, that's fucking grim. I mean, obviously it's horrific seeing, the apparition of the woman, but just like hearing someone getting out of water and saying
Asking for help.
Yeah. Man, that's fucking grim.
Yeah.
That is fucking grim.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what it's like being in a swimming pool after hours, Jordan. Staying late to squeegee the changing rooms and make sure everything's all set for the morning.
It is a bit ominous.
It is a little bit, especially when you're on like poolside on your own and that, and it's you've kind of got the lower the lower lit lights rather than the ones that are on when the swimmers are in. And that. It can get quite a bit spooky.
There was I kind of only really remembering this now because I'm thinking about the Wild Duck holiday camp I used to work at. So basically, I was a lifeguard, but I was also, because I was doing like sports stuff at college, I was also a sports coach. And by that, it's literally like, you'd go off, there'd be like a football activity for an hour, and you'd go and you'd give a little training session for the kids and have them do a game or, archery or things like that, right? And a lot of the equipment was stored in a building that was used for owners' parties, right? Because obviously you had caravan owners that got like special treatment and stuff, and every now and then there'd be a special party put on for owners away from all the holiday makers in this building. There was like a stage and stuff. It was basically like the old entertainment room, if you like, but they kept it, and then they kept it. So anyway, and in the storage cupboard in there was where the equipment was held. And I'll never forget this guy who was like head of sports. I can't remember his name, but I think he was about 19, 20 at the time, and I was about 17. We went in there to get some archery shit, and he was like, this building is fucking, and he wasn't like pissing about or anything, and this guy was a fucking piss taker. The guys whose their banter is at your fucking expense, right? He was dead he was always pissing about, always joking. He was dead fucking serious, right? And he was just like, yeah, this room, I fucking hate having to get shit out of this storage cupboard, which was basically his daily life, because this room is haunted. This building is haunted as shit. And basically, if you imagine there's a stage, curtains, behind the curtains, storage cupboard, come out onto the stage, chairs, bar at the back. He was like, I'm not even joking, dude. The amount of times I've just seen something in my fucking peripheral at the back of this fucking room makes me feel sick. And I don't think I ever really saw anything myself, but he was, considering how out of character it was, he was genuinely not having a good time in that room, And it's just really interesting. But again, it's a place of entertainment, a place of fun.
That's it.
And yet, it can harbour some potential ghosty ghoulies. But yeah, it's just really, really fucking spooky. And I just remember him being so fucking cold, like just so out of character, just so fucking genuinely scared, telling me this fucking story. Mad. It's probably been demolished now, I reckon, because it was old then, and that was fucking 12 years ago. So yeah, but yeah, right. Bailey, you are up.
Okay, so mid-pod, I've changed my mind. Listening to everyone else's stories, they're pretty decent. The one that I found, absolute fucking dog shit in comparison. So I thought, instead of just reading one that I found online, I might as well give you a real-life experience of my own.
Cool.
So I thought that might be a little bit better because it's coming from a trusted, reliable source.
There you go.
All right?
Yeah.
So sit back, buckle up, listen to this one. So,
Right.
my girlfriend used to live with her aunt, okay, and her aunt had 2 children of her own, two younger girls, and Kelly used to say to me all the time that there is a man that haunts this house with one leg, and her cousins have seen it, and her auntie has obviously seen it as well. And now they didn't get any negative sort of feelings from this ghost, but obviously because her cousins were younger, they made them feel a little bit uneasy, like they could kind of see him at the top of the stairs and feel his presence. So her auntie would always request him to politely leave because he's scaring her children. She only told me about this, and she never told any of our friends. And Kelly's auntie was one of them cool aunties, you know. She let us all go around there for house parties and have a decent time. So one evening, we all went round there. There was maybe like 7 or 8 of us, and we all stayed there for a house party, and we all stayed over the night. Me and Kelly went into her bedroom, and a few of our friends stayed in her cousin's bedroom because her auntie was away with her cousins. My friend Wes I can't remember if he had a disagreement with one of my other mates in there, but something happened and made him storm out and go downstairs. And Ryan felt bad about it, so I thought I should probably go and check on him. You know, because he's just stormed off in the middle of the night, about 2:30. I'll go see if he's all right. So he pokes his head out the door, and the way it was, the landing was in the middle of the stairs, and you kind of go off to the left to the bedroom that they were staying in, and off to the right to the bedroom that I was staying in. So he leaned out the door and looks down the stairs and sees a figure sitting on the middle of the stairs and says, "Wes, are you all right, mate? Like, what? You know, you're okay. You know, come, chill out, come back. It's all right." He didn't get a response. He's like, "Mate, don't ignore me. Come on, just come back. We'll sort it out. Just come back upstairs." Wes then pokes his head out of the living room at the bottom of the stairs and looks up saying, "Did you call me?" And obviously Ryan froze in fucking fear. Like, who the fuck is this guy just sitting on the stairs then? Everyone's accounted for and is like either asleep or, you know, everyone knows that there's not just someone sitting in the middle of the stairs. Ryan walked down the stairs, and as he walked through this bigger person or whatever sitting down on the middle of the stairs, got freezing cold and disappeared. He shits himself when you speak about it now as well. Like I thought, okay, I've heard the stories. Like I've never seen it myself. This is a little bit bull. Okay, a few weeks later, I'm staying round again. I wake up in the middle of the night to use the toilet. I open Kelly's bedroom door, and at the top of the stairs, I see a ghostly sort of white figure sitting at the sort of very classic, I know, stereotype, white ghost, whatever. But a very sort of like a light bluish sort of mist, but in the shape of a person. You can quite clearly see that on one side, which was his right side, it extended longer than his left side, maybe to say that he was missing a leg. I was like, fucking, what is that? Walk across the stairs, not thinking anything of it. Get ice cold as I walk through it. Go to the bathroom, turn the light on, turn around, and the mysterious figure had vanished and was never seen by me again. Because I never stayed, because it's terrified me. So yeah, that's my actual real life ghost story, real experience I've had myself. So yeah,
that's fucking gnarly. What possessed you? Excuse the pun, to walk through it.
Because I was just thought, oh fucking hell, like I thought, because it's fucking hell, I thought my camera had gone again. I was like, Jesus, no. I don't know. I just can't, because I just woke up in the middle of the night. Do you know what I mean? I weren't really thinking anything of it, and the way. I thought maybe it could be because her auntie's bedroom door was open, so I thought potentially it could be light coming through. And I'm just like, what is that at the top of the stairs that looks like something? But then I thought, it can't be anything. It's just light, innit? But then you walk through it, and it's not just like a presence of cold that I felt when I walked through it. It kind of felt like, the only way I can kind of describe it is like, you know, when you walk through like a spider web, and you can feel, like, you haven't seen it, but you can feel it's on you. It's like it was like a giant cloud of like
emotion. Is he frozen?
Have I frozen?
Yeah, you completely froze, and your mic. Is this paranormal? He's getting too close to the truth.
Wait, Lozzie's lagging too.
No, Lozzie's
Now,
fine on
Lozzie's
my
just sat
stream.
there.
I'm just saying.
No,
Can you hear me
his
now?
camera keeps refreshing for me.
Am I okay
Oh,
now?
Bailey's back
Yeah,
now.
okay.
We're
Okay.
getting some interference, some paranormal
Jesus.
interference. We're getting too close to the truth here.
Right. What part did it cut off at? I'll carry on from
Yeah,
there.
you were just saying, like, you know, it's like a spider's web.
Yeah, so it's sort of like that's the sort of thing I would like describe it through. It's like you can't see anything, but you notice something as you walk through it. But like
Yeah.
it's not like they're trying to pick it out your face sort of feel, but it's like a mist or like a smoke cloud if you kind of want to put it that way.
Yeah.
And you're kind of just like you get this chill all over your body. It's like I've literally just walked through something. You turn around and then the thing I initially saw was gone. But as I walked from the toilet back to the bedroom, I obviously turned around to see if it was a trick of the light. And whatever it was wasn't there this time, and the lighting was exactly the same because it would have been like 45 to a minute. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Does Kelly's auntie still live there?
No, she doesn't live there anymore. She's now moved. Because don't worry, I would have. Do you think I would have brought it
Yeah, I
up
was
to go
going to
around
say,
the investigation?
surely.
Do you know what I mean?
Fucking hell.
But yeah, so yeah, the ghost that haunted Kelly's auntie's house, man with one leg. Apparently, he was looking for his wife. That's why he kept turning up.
Interesting.
That's what I don't know how she gauged that from it. I just saw
Yeah,
a weird figure. But yeah, apparently that's how the story goes.
Oh, mad.
Yeah.
No, that's brilliant. When it was Wes at the bottom of the stairs, wasn't it? Poked his head
Yes,
round.
it was Wes. Yeah, Wes was at
Did
the
he
bottom
see
of the stairs,
anything
yeah.
when he was looking up the stairs when he said, "Did you call me?"
No,
So he saw nothing.
no. I don't think so. You can ask him, but I don't think he saw anything. But all I know is Ryan looking down and seeing it.
Seeing it. Interesting.
Yeah.
Creepy. Very,
There you
very
go.
creepy. And again, a little.
Oh, I forgot to mention as well. Sorry. Obviously, Kelly never told anyone else about this, right?
Yeah.
But they obviously had seen exactly what Kelly had seen, her cousins had seen, and her auntie has seen with no prior knowledge to it. I was the only one that was told about it.
Of course.
So-
Right. Of course. I see. Yeah.
So then
So
when he brought it
Ryan-
up,
yeah.
when he brought it up, Kelly wasn't really. She was like, "Oh yeah, no, that's just that happens sometimes." And he was like, "What do you mean it just happens sometimes? Why are
Yeah.
you living here? Just fucking leave."
But she's had Kelly's had a lot of stuff like that, like the barn that you guys used to live in.
Oh
the
yeah,
golf
yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was at the golf course. Yeah. She was
That place
convinced that
sounds
that was haunted.
horrible.
Yeah, and there was a few times actually. To be fair, we're like because obviously our eldest was newborn at the time, and where his bedroom was like we kind of created like a walkway with a sofa, and we would both hear footsteps behind us into the bedroom, screaming child after the footsteps had entered the room. So yeah,
That's grim.
Grim.
she then refused to live there anymore and just left me to clear the entire flat out. So I had to go up after work in the pitch black on my own with a borrowed van, lugging stuff down. Do you know how hard it is to get a fucking fridge freezer down a really tight staircase on your own? Fucking hard, mate.
My word.
It's fucking hard, I tell you. But I had to do it. She refused to go back. So yeah,
Were there any ghosts while you were doing it?
I just wanted to get shit out, man. I wasn't paying any attention. I was like, don't
They
do
helped
it
him
now.
pack.
I'm holding the fridge. Don't tickle me, ghost.
They're
'cause
like,
I need
I
the
know,
fridge.
I'm helping.
yeah. But no, there was a very uneasy sort of feeling there after she brought it up. I don't know whether I was influenced by her feeling uneasy there.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a very strange sort of feel to that place.
Horrible, man. Fuck, what was the point in you looking for stories online
know.
when you have those two?
I've no idea. But yeah, there you go. I'm glad
Brilliant.
that Lozzie told his own story, a story that he knows the person in and that. So I thought, fuck it, I'll tell my own.
Nice.
Yeah, fuck the girl that went for a run and saw a strange lady sitting on a log. Fuck that story.
That's it, exactly.
That's
That sounds shit.
It was. Yeah,
Exactly.
in comparison to what we've heard tonight.
What do you think the
Shit.
log was made of?
That's it.
Terrible joke.
That's it.
Terrible joke. Terrible joke to what you call it? Segue
Terrible
into mine.
story.
Nah, this is a good story,
Going
man.
to a terrible story.
Nah, this is all right.
Oh.
Here we go.
Poor segue.
Are we ready? Here we go.
Slowly.
Get me in.
Oh, why am I in the top corner every
Right.
time?
All right, look. There you go.
Oh, well, hang on. You've been in control this entire time.
He just
Oh,
left
You
Scott
deliberately
behind.
put me
it.
up there.
For the audio listeners, Scott's been absolutely done there, and Maya as well. Both been done
Scott
for
was
2
there
stories.
for 2 stories, weren't you?
Scott was
Yeah.
there for 1. I've been there for nearly 3.
Uh,
If we count this one.
Right, are we ready
It's
for Mr.
irrelevant.
Oh,
It's irrelevant. Let's hear Jordan's story. Come on.
here we go. Right, this is police officer's encounter with a possessed woman. Right?
Okay.
So, I've taken notes of this story. It's going to be difficult, forgive me, because this is obviously this is the police officer telling it. So I'm now going to tell it from his perspective, but there are 2 police officers there. I'll do my best, all right? But I'm not going to pretend to be the police officer. Anyway, right.
Please do.
So let's say police officer A and police officer B. Police officer B will be mentioned once, okay? So if I just say police officer, I mean police officer A. Yeah?
Okay.
Right. So this police officer gets a call to a beautiful home. Apparently it was a wonderful home. Very nice, very affluent area, etc. Okay? And this call single-handedly made him believe in demonic possession. Now, it's very important to note that as a police officer, he's in America. Not that that's really important, but he's an American police officer. You deal with a lot of unstable people. You deal with a lot of mentally ill people. You deal with a lot of people on drugs. And he genuinely believes that this was none of the above, right? So, he gets a call, right? A guy calls up to have his wife taken to a mental institution. Now, apparently, this police officer's initial response was, fucking hell, mate, it's your wife. Why don't you deal with it? You know, we're not a fucking taxi service. But apparently, after this night, he felt awful for having those initial thoughts. Okay?
Good.
So he knocks on the door. An elderly man answers the door. And he says, hey, my wife has been in an institution for months. She was recently released about 2-3 weeks ago, but she needs to go back. The reason he called the police is because he didn't want to restrain her. He didn't want to have to restrain her because he doesn't want to accidentally hurt his wife. He loves his wife, and he also doesn't want to be accused of hurting his wife. But apparently for a few weeks, she's not been looking after herself. She's not been eating properly. She's not been washing. She's not been taking her medication. And more alarmingly than anything, she's been upstairs in one room, pacing up and down constantly. Now, the police officer is warned by the husband to be careful because there is blood on the floor. The blood is on the floor from where she was dragging her feet, pacing backwards and forwards. Apparently, she had essentially destroyed the bottoms of her feet.
Ugh.
He's still downstairs at this point, and the son pops up, teenage lad, and he actually warns the police officer, whispering to him, you know, be careful because she's up, you know, because it's up there, right? Which takes, he's like, what the fuck, you know, why are you saying that? So anyway, the police officer sort of shrugs it off because right now, you know, he's just thinking, right, this is just a fucking mentally unstable woman. I'm going to go up there, blah, blah, blah. Which is also important to stress. Could be the case, all right? We're not professionals here, but this is what this police officer believes. So anyway, he goes up the stairs, right? Him and his partner, police officer A and police officer B. They walk up the steps. Beautiful staircase, apparently. Again, really nice area, really nice house. Family doing really well. And he comes up to some double doors. And he said, this is literally like right out of the fucking movies. I open these double doors and I look, and at the back of this darkened room, yeah, there she is, stood there. But she's like all fucking contorted and shit, right? Just sort of like, just heckling to herself, breathing this horrible wheezer, like, breathing like that constantly, right? Scary as fuck. Makes him go like, oh, fucking hell. Like, you know, this is like some scary shit. He was like, you know, she was like something out of a movie, in that, you know, she was all pasty because she'd been in a dark room. Her hair was all matted. You know, you could tell she was, the room stank, you know, and there was blood all over the floor. weirdly almost in like 2 train tracks, like you can see where she's just been going backwards and forwards, right? And as soon as the officer's like, oh fuck, he actually says it out loud, she just like locks onto him and then just storms for him, stops about a foot in front of him, just stares at him, turns, and then just fucking like drags her feet back and just storms back to the back of the room, and then starts doing this backwards, forwards, right? So she's hyperventilating, contorting constantly. So the other officer decides to try and talk to her. Now, I don't know if this is relevant or not, but the other officer was a female, so maybe she thought, let's go and have a, lady to lady conversation. I don't know, see if I can get through to her, sort of thing, right? So the officer B is trying to talk to this woman. Again, she's like, and apparently she just fucking cranes her neck and turns and looks directly at Officer A. The male officer stood in the doorway, right? The Officer B is trying to talk sense to her, trying to get her to say anything. And she's just staring at Officer A. And he describes it, they locked eyes, and he said it was the most surreal experience of my life, because it wasn't like she was looking at me, like say if you're looking at your friend or someone that you know and you're making eye contact. He describes it as he felt like there was something inside her, something behind her eyes looking back at him, like he wasn't looking at something that was human, like there was an entity within her. So the son comes up the stairs, right? Waffles on a little bit about being a Christian rapper and stuff like that, right? Which is slightly relevant. It's a bit funny, but it is slightly relevant. And then a massive red flag happens, because the son gets a door key out of his pocket and unlocks his own bedroom. And then he realized all of these rooms have locks on them, okay? And on the inside of the boy's room was deadbolts. But these deadbolts were on the inside of the rooms because, well, we'll get to that, right?
Oh,
so the police officer's like, who the fuck does that? Anyway, he comes back out and sees that the police officer has some tattoos. He, like, his sleeve rolled up a little bit, and he was like, oh, cool, you have tattoos. So then he shows off. He's got the son has like this new chest piece, right? So he shows him this chest piece. It's this massive, like, Christian, angelic chest piece. And then he says, and so he's just explaining, like, how basically, because of what's happening to his mum, he's turned to Jesus and all this sort of stuff because he believes she's possessed, blah, 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 right? Then he tells the officer something that he says he will take to the grave and he will never, ever forget, right? So this woman is in this room, she's breathing, she's contorted, it's all fucking awful. And the son just goes to the officer, sir, this is nothing. You should hear it at night. And the officer's like, what did you just say? So he repeats it. And he says, that's your mother and you're referring to it as it. He said, yeah, that's not my mum. That is why I lock myself in my bedroom, to keep her out. The husband comes up and shows the officer a picture of a woman stood in the kitchen. Stunning woman. Beautiful woman. And he says, that's her. That is my wife. And apparently looking at this woman in the picture, and then the woman stood before him, it was like it couldn't have even remotely been the same person, And then, of course, the police officer did ask, did she get addicted to drugs? Did something? He said, honestly, never touched drugs in her life. I don't know what happened to her, but she's never touched drugs in her life. And unfortunately, guys, I'm not going to lie to you, this has quite an underwhelming ending because it's a police call out. So the officers took her to the institution, again in the back of the police car. She was, rambling on. She was, wheezing, contorting, all that stuff. Dropped her off at the institution, and they don't know what happened after that. But he swears, the police officer swears, of all the call outs he's received, that is the one that made him feel that possession is real, and he believes that she was possessed and not mentally ill. Of course, there's no way for us to know that, but that is what he believed. So yeah, that is the police officer that got a call from a possessed woman.
Jesus
Ugh.
Christ, that is
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you've got to like put deadbolts on your inside of your own bedroom
To keep your
to
own
keep your
mum
mum
out.
out,
Yeah.
something ain't right.
Something's wrong, yeah.
Yeah, something ain't
Yeah.
right.
You should
whatever.
hear it at night. Ugh. Man.
I think that story might have won tonight for me.
It's a
That is
competition.
fucking way it's now,
Hang
and
on a
Jordan
minute.
won it. So
Fuck yeah.
nah, that's
my-
fucking rank.
I'm
Yeah.
scarred from mine.
But also, like, I think it could possibly be true. The fact that it does have an underwhelming
Well-
ending adds credibility to it because it's like that is how life happens.
Yeah,
They
this is a.
wouldn't know
this-
what happened to her.
So I got that story. It's from a viral clip. I'll link the clip down below because the police officer is a guest on a podcast, and the podcast, from what I can gauge, isn't a very big one. It's just the clip's gone viral. But yeah, it's just a police officer swearing blind that this happened to him. You know, I will pre-warn you, and this isn't throwing shade, but the host is awful at following a story, right? So
I thought you were just gonna say the host is shit.
well,
Full
right?
stop.
So if you look at the comments on that clip, right, it's fucking crazy. So like the police officer is telling this story, yeah, and it's like, yeah, so we got a call from this husband, blah blah blah, and then I'm not joking, the host goes, what do you mean by call? And then
What?
and then when the son is like, that's not my mum,
Who is it then?
the host goes, oh, did they not know who this woman was? It's like, no, that is his wife and that is his mum. If I was the police officer, I'd be like, are you even listening to what I'm fucking saying?
Yeah.
But anyway,
I'd
let's
just be
get
like, oh, I'm leaving.
yeah, let's get away from that
Ah.
anyway. But yeah, it's fucking. But obviously, the police officer telling it, himself is fantastic. So I will link that down below. But yeah, it's something I've wanted to do a video. I've wanted to do a video on that clip for fucking ages. So basically, I've got it in here instead. But yeah, for me, the big thing is that she's paced up and down so many times that her feet are fucked. You got to think the bases of her feet to be bleeding is awful. But yeah, dark shit, man. Dark shit. Like, even if it's not possession and it is like schizophrenia or something like that, it's still fucking terrifying. Regardless,
because schizophrenia is like wild, isn't it? Because it can have that effect, like where it changes your voice and your physical sort of everything about it. So it's not out of the realms of possibility that it may have been like a schizophrenic episode or whatever. But still, regardless, it doesn't take away any of the scariness behind it. Do you know what I mean?
No.
It's still terrifying.
But like I say, it's interesting to note the thing that I love about the story, but the thing that it's so interesting about the story is he highlights specifically. He's like, look, I have dealt with people on drugs. I've dealt with schizophrenic people. I've dealt with seriously mentally ill people, and this was fucking different. This wasn't quite that. But when he describes like looking at her, when she looked at him, and he was like, I wasn't looking at her. There was something inside her looking back at me. It's like, oh, fuck that, man. Fuck that. But yeah, so that's the police officer that got. Yeah. Not cool. But
Definitely not.
I tell you what, guys, I think we've smashed it with the stories, though. All of us, they were great stories.
Yeah.
I got like 3 more as well, so we could do a part 2.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Whoa.
I love that.
One that I did find, which there was just no way I was going to read, is the most upvoted ghost story on Reddit, and I would encourage you to read it for a video because it's fucking rank. It's got like 69,000 upvotes or something ridiculous, and it's called
link it to me.
The Peaking Wife is what it's called.
It's them fucking pesky wives, man. They're, they're possession.
Don't
bait.
give him that look, Maya.
Yeah, you look possessed. Stop it.
He's trying to warn you that there's
Woman.
someone behind you in your sleep. You're just ungrateful.
Exactly. It's been a fantastic Halloween special, guys. We've smashed it. Well done. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I love how at the start, before we started recording, we were like, fuck, our stories would be like 4 minutes each. We're on 1 hour and 16 minutes.
We smashed it, guys.
Yeah. So that's great.
I really enjoyed that one, team. It was great fun. We need to do another story time with the Drip crew.
And
Yeah,
I do like that we mix up hosting and stuff. But this has shown that we can do five 5 people, which is cool.
I don't think this was too much. To be
No, it wasn't.
honest.
It wasn't.
Let's
But
double it.
Let's find the limit. Yeah, let's find it.
yeah, let's just keep
25 hosts next week.
Let's just
That's
keep
it.
going.
Seeking the truth. Really, how many people can you have in a pod?
I did. You know, I was watching a Nuke's Top 5 once, reacted to it, and there was a video of this guy who's on like a call like this. It's for like a weekly show they do. I don't know what it was for or anything like that. And then something like walks past in the background. It was definitely his girlfriend or something, and he's just playing on it. But literally, it keeps going, right? So they keep going forward because they're all talking about it. And every time it jumps forward a little bit, there's like 3 new hosts. And by the end of the by the end of the clip, there's about 17 fucking people in this call. And it's just like, yeah, Randy had a fucking ghost behind him. And it's like, what? As if I missed that, bro. And it's just like more and more people. It's fucking mad. But no, it's brilliant. Cool. Sweet, awesome. Check out Rafe, drinkrafe.com. Duty for 20% off. Check out the Patreon as well. Yeah, thank you guys. We are going to be going to some more investigation-y, nation-y places. We've had some good news from the Ancient Ramin. The £800 quote that we got was, I don't know, them trying to get money, and now they've realised that people aren't going to pay that much. So they've gone back to their original price. So we're going to be looking at going to the Ancient Ramin, guys, which is going to be epic. But yeah, thank you so much. We'll see you very soon. See you later.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Oh, happy Halloween. Ooh.